Hello, my name is Snorf. Nintendo had an investors meeting yesterday, so in this video I'm going to be covering everything that happened or everything that got announced at that meeting. So this video is sort of like a Nintendo investors meeting roundup video. There's a lot of stuff to cover, so this video might go on for quite a while. I'm predicting that this video might go on for something like half an hour or something along those lines. So I'm just basically going to get on with it. Now, I'm not exactly sure if these sales figures got announced at the investors meeting, but I'm going to be covering nonetheless. So there's two figures here. I think the first one is sales figures for 2013 or sales figures for 9 months or something along those lines, and the second figure is lifetime sales. So Pokemon X and Y has sold 11.61 million either in 2013 or in 9 months. Animal Crossing has sold 3.52 million sales. I think that might have been in 9 months or across 2013, like I said before. It sold 7.38 million lifetime. Luigi's Mansion's Dark Moon, 2.57 million sales, 3.79 million lifetime. A Link Between Worlds, 2.18 million. Mario and Luigi Dream Team, 2 million sales. Now, I think this should say Tamagotchi collection, but I've got it down as Tomodachi collection. I think it's Tamagotchi collection, and that sold 1.82 million. I do believe that game was only released in Japan. Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, 1.43 million sales. Mario Kart 7, 1.27 million sales, 9.35 million lifetime. New Super Mario Bros. 2, 1.21 million sales, 7.63 million lifetime. Lego City Undercover, The Chase Begins, 1.11 million sales. Now, these are sales figures for some Wii U software. Super Mario 3D World, 1.94 million sales. New Super Mario Bros. U, 1.74 million sales, 3.89 million lifetime. New Super Mario, or New Super Luigi, I should say, 1.51 million sales. Wind Waker HD, 1.15 million sales. Wii Party U, 1.24 million sales. Mario Kart Wii, 1 million sales. 35.26 million lifetime sales. That is bloody impressive. Now, I should have said at the start that those figures are worldwide figures, if I'm not mistaken. And some of those figures, like Wii Party U, New Super Mario Bros. U, Wind Waker HD, they sold that much because they were bundled with the Wii U itself. So, and Link Between Worlds, there was a bundle for Link Between Worlds as well. So some of these sales figures are quite high because of the fact that you got bundles out there. Same with Mario Kart Wii, actually. There's a Wii bundle out there with Mario Kart as well. But yeah, 35 million lifetime sales for Mario Kart Wii is flipping impressive. So yeah, this is the investors meeting itself now. And the first one that I've got to cover is that Nintendo are to still make hardware. Iwata sees hardware and software development as path to success, won't put games on other platforms, so you won't be seeing Mario on the PS4 and Xbox One pretty much. This is what Iwata had to say. We therefore believe that dedicated video game platforms which integrate hardware and software will remain our core business. Naturally, we are moving ahead with research and development efforts for future hardware, as we have done before, and we're not planning to give up our own hardware systems and shift our axis towards other platforms. We believe we can capitalize the most on our strength in platforms which integrate hardware and software. It is clear that since we have developed products which integrate hardware and software, we're able to offer such devices as dual screen Nintendo DS with one touchscreen and Wii Remote and Wii Balance Board for Wii. Now, the next stuff that I'm going to be talking about is the Wii U. They've basically pinpointed the fact that its main weakness is the gamepad. Iwata says that the Wii U's weakness is the gamepad, as people still view it as an accessory to a Wii. So it's pretty good that they've actually finally acknowledged the fact that many people don't know what the Wii U is, and the fact that people think that the gamepad is a Wii accessory. This is what Iwata had to say specifically on that. As a platform in its second year, Wii U is currently in a very difficult position. I'd like to begin with what we're going to do with Wii U. Obviously, under the current situation where the company has to report an operating loss, simply executing a price reduction as a way to defuse the situation is not an option. In the short term, Nintendo will focus on thoroughly enriching the value of the most significant feature of Wii U, the Wii U Gamepad. So, just to butt in here, we won't be seeing a price cut for the Wii U. To carry on with what Iwata was saying. Unfortunately, as the current situation of Wii U shows, we have not been able to fully communicate the value of the gamepad. We also realise that we have not been successful in answering answering consumers' questions such as what is the difference between Wii U and the previous platform Wii, and what is the benefit of upgrading it. By looking at the current sales situation, I'm aware that this is due to a lack of effort. What's even worse is that there even appear to be not a small number of consumers who think the gamepad is one of the accessories for the previous platform. It is more challenging to convey the appeal of the gamepad to consumers who do not engage with video games that often, since they do not actively gather information about video games. Therefore, we intend to take on this challenge, and I would like to have this solved before the year-end sales season, which I do believe might be April next year, if I'm not mistaken, or it might be the end of this year. I'm not exactly sure when that is, but pretty much, I think they pretty much acknowledged the fact that, because they haven't advertised the system well enough, people just don't know what it is. I think that's basically what they're getting at there. So in order to make the Wii U more appealing, you're going to take advantage of Wii U Gamepad unique features. This is what Iwata had to say. Our top priority task this year is to offer software titles that are made possible because of the Gamepad. We have managed to offer several of such software titles for occasions when many people gather at one place to play. We've not been able to offer a decisive software title that enriches the user's gameplay experience when playing alone with the gamepad. This will be one of the top priorities of Mr. Miyamoto's software development department this year. Wii U NFC games are to be revealed at E3, and that is, Nintendo's highest priority is to take advantage of the gamepad's unique features. Now, I have had NFC games in the past, like Skylanders, Disney Infinity, and Pokemon Rumble U. So, who knows what they're going to be announcing at E3 this year regarding that. There's going to be a new firmware update coming early summer, which will basically have a quick start menu feature where you can start up Wii U games quickly. It currently takes 20 seconds to start Wii U games. Nintendo want to halve that. This is what Iwata had to say on that. One of the major benefits of the gamepad is that we can easily play video games without using the TV, and this has been well received. Unfortunately, however, after starting up Wii U, there is a wait of over 20 seconds before we can select a video game title, and hence it is not an ideal situation for users now. To solve this problem, a quick start menu for the gamepad will become a reality after a future system update planned for early summer. The quick start menu enables you to load one of the software titles you have recently played without being routed to the console menu. We think that this function will make you feel that the time to start up a Wii U software title is cut by more than 50%, and it will also lead to more Wii U users understanding the appealing nature of the gamepad. To be honest, was it really a problem to start off with? Or waiting 20 seconds to start up a game? Just bloody wait. And if you're moaning about that, then seriously, you need to sort yourself out, because it's only 20 flipping seconds. I just don't really see the need to focus on that. What they should focus instead is Wii U Party Chat. We still haven't got a party chat system in there, you know. We haven't got a achievement system. We haven't got many basic features that the other consoles got. You know, that's what they should be focusing on, not bloody reducing the load time by half from 20 seconds to 10 seconds. That ain't important for me. So basically what Nintendo are doing to make the Wii U appealing is to make people aware of the gamepad and what it can do, pretty much. That's what Nintendo are getting at there. 3DS Virtual Console games are coming to Wii U Virtual Console. Mario Kart 8 is to release globally in May. This is what Iwata had to say on Mario Kart 8. To create huge momentum, we would like to ensure that the release of titles such as Mario Kart 8 is not a one-off event. Now, you know, from now onwards, pretty much, we've got Donkey Kong in February, and then after that, it's Mario Kart 8 in May. So it looks like there's going to be another software drought, which, you know, if you looked at last year's software drought, that badly harmed the Wii U sales and the Wii U's performance last year. So hopefully we'll have some games to play, or new games coming out between February and May. Hopefully there will be a Nintendo Direct soon to announce more games that are coming out and release dates for games already announced. So next stuff I'm going to be talking about is the 3DS, and the first bit I'm going to be talking about is the sales figures. Nintendo 3DS was the top selling game device around the world last year. In the Japanese market in particular, 3DS reached sales of 4.9 million units in the calendar year. No other game system in its peak years have achieved annual sales of 4 million units after the year 2000. Which is pretty impressive. That's 4.9 million sales. That's pretty impressive. That's just in Japan as well. In the US market, 3DS became the device with the highest share. Its lifetime hardware unit sales exceeding 11.5 million units. I've covered that on my channel before. The worldwide hardware sales of Nintendo 3DS have reached 42.74 million units, a sufficient size to expand this platform business, is what I had to say. More iOS games are coming to 3DS. iOS developers want to develop for the 3DS because it's selling like hotcakes. And Iwata pointed to Angry Birds 3DS as an example of how successful those sort of games can be on the 3DS. Now for the future, Nintendo's relationship with customers are to change from device based, so pretty much from DS to 3DS, Wii to Wii U. It's changing from that device based to account based, through which they want to establish I can't flip and say that word, establish long term relationships with customers. And this is where Nintendo Network IDs come in. They will be used for future consoles and handhelds. This is what Iwata had to say on that. When we do launch new hardware in the future, rather than recreating an install base from scratch as we did in the past, we wish to build on our existing connections with our consumers through Nintendo Network IDs and continue to maintain them. As I just illustrated, we will manage our relationships with our consumers through Nintendo Network IDs in a uniform manner and connect it with our customers through NNIDs. There will be precisely our definition of a Nintendo platform. I can't flip and speak at the moment. Don't know what's wrong with me. But in other words, our platform will not be bound to physical hardware and instead will be virtualized. Now, smart devices. This is what I had to say on that. I will be summarising this at the end, by the way, because I did say a lot about smart devices. Another very important point that we need to consider is how we will incorporate small devices or smart devices into Nintendo platforms, which were composed solely of Nintendo hardware in the past. The traditional definition of a video game platform imposed a restriction in which you were unable to connect with consumers unless they purchased a Nintendo system. Given that the competition for consumers' time and attention has become fierce, I feel that how we will take advantage of smart devices is an extremely important question to answer. However, in order to be absolutely clear, let me emphasize that this does not mean simply supplying Nintendo games on smart devices. Taking advantage of smart devices means connecting with all consumers, including those who do not own Nintendo's video game systems through smart devices, and communicating the value of our entertainment offerings, thus encouraging more people to participate in Nintendo platforms. I've often heard the opinion from many that Nintendo should release its first party content on smart devices. The rationale behind such a suggestion, in my view, is that it would be illogical not to expand our business on smart devices given that they have outsold dedicated video game systems by a large margin. Many people say that releasing Nintendo software assets for smart devices would expand our business. However, we believe that we cannot show our strength as an integrated hardware software business in this field, and therefore it would be difficult to continue the same scale of business in the medium to long term. Therefore, we would like to, instead of directly expanding our business on smart devices, focus on achieving greater ties with our consumers on smart devices and expanding our platform business. However, creating stronger ties with consumers would require them to engage with our office frequently, and we know that this is not an easy task to achieve. We will use a small select team of developers to achieve it. Also, we recognise that attracting consumers' attention among the whatever that word says. I don't know how to pronounce this word. It's Myriads. Basically, it's hard to get the consumer's attention with the vast amount of mobile applications. And as I said before, we feel that simply releasing our games just as they are on smart devices will not provide the best entertainment for those devices. So we are not going to take any approach of this nature. Having said that, however, in the current environment surrounding smart devices, we feel that we'll not be able to gain the support of many consumers unless we are able to provide something truly valuable that is unique to Nintendo. Accordingly, I have not given any restrictions to the development team, even not ruling out the possibility of making games or using our game characters. However, if you report that we will release Mario on smart devices, it will be completely misleading. It is our intention to release some application on smart devices this year that is capable of attracting consumers' attention and communicating the value of our entertainment offerings. So I would encourage you to see how our approach yields results. God almighty, I feel like I'm back at school just reading something out of a textbook. Nah, that Jesus Christ, that was a lot to read out. But to summarise, Nintendo are to use smart devices to connect to audience who don't own a Nintendo system to tempt them to buy them pretty much. They also use smart devices to focus on achieving greater ties with their own consumers. Nintendo will not release first-party software on smart devices. It's not good for business, medium to long term. But they have a small dev team working on something for smart devices, which could involve making games or involve Nintendo characters. My guess would be Miiverse for iPhone or something like that. That would be my guess of what they could do, on that on smart devices. The next thing that I'm going to be talking about is that Nintendo are to offer flexible price points for games. Games will be cheaper for people who buy more, share, or play with friends. This is what I had to say about that. If we succeed in the redefinition of video game platforms that I speak of today, our account-based connection with consumers will become very clear. For example, until now it has been taken for granted that software is offered to users at the same price, regardless of how many titles they purchase in a year, be it 1, 5, or even 10 titles. Based on our account system, if we can offer flexible price points to consumers who meet certain conditions, we can create a situation where these consumers can enjoy our software at a cheaper price point when they purchase more. Here we do not need to limit the condition to the number of software titles they purchase. Inviting friends to start playing a particular software title is also an example of a possible condition. If we can achieve such a sales I can't flipping speak. If we can achieve such a sales mechanism, we can expect to increase the number of players per title, and the players will play our games with more friends. This can help maintain a high usage ratio of a platform. When one platform maintains a high active use ratio, the software titles which run on it have a higher potential to be noticed by many, which leads to more people playing with more titles. When we see our overall consumers, they generally play 2 or 3 titles per year. We aim to establish a new sales mechanism that will be beneficial to both consumers and software creators by encouraging our consumers to play more titles and increasing the platform's active use ratio without largely increasing our consumers' expenditures. Nintendo aims to work on this brand new sales mechanism in the medium term, but we would like to start experimenting with Wii U at an early stage. Flipping it, there's so much stuff to read out here. But the next thing that I'm going to be talking about is the change in management of their IPs. Before, Nintendo were very strict about the management of their IPs. Nintendo characters only appeared in games. Now, Nintendo are relaxing that. For example, last year there was Nintendo merchandise that got announced or that got released into the world. And they're basically seeking partners to expand their IP exposure. To be more precise, this is what I had to say. We'll be actively expand our character license business, including proactively finding appropriate partners. In fact, we have been actively selling character merchandise for about a year in the US. Also, we'll be flexible about forming licenses relationships in areas we did not license in the past, such as digital fields, provided we are not in direct competition and we can form win-win relationships. By moving forward with such activities globally, we aim to increase consumers' exposure to Nintendo characters by making them appear in places other than on video game platforms. So this basically opens the prospect of seeing a Mario TV program, Zelda TV program, a Mario film, Zelda film. It might also open the prospect of third parties working on Nintendo IPs. So, for example, Retro could work on the campaign of a Metro game, and a third party could, develop the online for that Metro game. That's just an example. Nintendo might not necessarily do it, but it does seem like Nintendo are relaxing their management of their IPs. So basically, they're not being as strict. Next, talked about emerging markets that basically plan to push Nintendo platforms in 2015. Want to establish user relationship, understand prices in those regions. They need to be lower. And the next thing that I'm going to be talking about is the future. Dedicated video game platforms will still be the core business of Nintendo, but it seems like they're going to be expanding into other areas, including health, which is pretty interesting. this is what Iwata had to say on this. I would like to tell you about something different from our traditional business. We'll definitely maintain dedicated video game platforms as our core business, but we'll also take on the challenge of expanding into new business areas. We will attempt to establish a new platform business with which we can leverage our strengths, but which is independent from our video game platform business. And this leads on to the QOL platform, which is the quality of life platform, which is separate from the video game platforms. It seems like this is like the third pillar to Nintendo. So they've got the console, the handheld, and it seems like this will be the third thing that Nintendo will do. It's not going to be replacing, or it's not going to be the next system after the Wii U. So basically, the QOL system focuses on health. Although health is the theme, Nintendo wants to expand it into a blue ocean through non-wearable tech, and they aim to release it in April 2015, with more details coming this year. It's not something that I'm interested in. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. And that was basically it for the investors meeting itself. And after that, there was a Q&A session. There was a lot of stuff, or quite a lot of stuff revealed in that session. So smart devices, or smart device service application is not designed to make money, but as communication to users, act as a channel to users. Smart device service, just advertising is not enough. It needs to be fun and engaging, connect with what people are talking good about. Marketing will rise as proportion roof revenue, but type will change, and especially for smart devices. Well, in the UK, we just need some marketing full stop, pretty much. 3DS will be the driver for next fiscal year. Wii U will not provide big profit, but software titles will drive restoration. Licensed character IP will now be more flexible. Won't license everything, consider competitiveness, and if undermine, then not to. That didn't really make much sense to me. So I guess I don't. You know what? I honestly don't know what that means. I'm trying to basically just. I don't know if it's not good for Nintendo. They basically won't let people use their IP pretty much. If they're in direct competition with Nintendo, then they won't let them use their IP pretty much. Miyamoto saying that Wii U impacted by lack of key franchises. Think this is resolved, which I think is a load of bullshit, to be honest with you. If they think that it's been resolved, then I think they've got the wrong end of the stick there. I don't think it has been resolved. I think we need to see franchises like Metroid, Star Fox, F-Zero on the Wii U, along with some other new stuff. That's what a lot of people say. If you ask them, "Oh, why haven't you bought a Wii U yet?" and they say, basically, it's just a Mario machine. So they need to, have more key franchises like Metroid, like Star Fox on the Wii U, in my opinion. Miyamoto goes on to say that games are not boring. They got strong reviews for 3D World. Think franchises can be upgraded in more stable manner, working with external developers. So I think I might have talked about this earlier, but we could see franchises like Metroid, Star Fox being worked on by external developers. And Mixed Nintendo Land was not self-explanatory. I think that might or should have meant self-explanatory. And Mixed Wii U had vacuum last year. It's not about volume but quality that's important. On that, I think both are important. It's like last year, Wii U had quality software, but it didn't have enough of them, and there was a massive software drought which hurt the Wii U's performance last year. So I don't necessarily agree with that. I think both of them are important. Don't get me wrong, you need a quality software, but there's no point just releasing 4 or 5. It won't really create much momentum for the system, in my opinion. 3DS dominates in Japan, so third party will want to develop for it. Overseas console dominates with developers focused on console not portable, but thinks with 3DS having 10 million install base, developers are more interested, or developers are more interested in 3DS. Wii U Rebound will see third party follow. I don't agree with that. I honestly don't agree with that. I think third party's done now. Even if the Wii U goes on to sell quite a lot, I think they're pretty much done. I can't see third parties coming back. I think third parties will say, oh, the Wii U's weaker, so I can't be asked to develop my game for it. And that's just my opinion on that. I can't see third parties coming back. And that's what pretty much Nintendo are hoping, that the Wii U sells good so that third parties come back. Whereas in my opinion, Nintendo should strike more deals like the ones that they did with Platinum for games like the Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta 2. I think they need to do more of that sort of stuff to encourage third parties, or to get third parties to develop on the Wii U. Miyamoto saying they can now allocate resources for new ideas like the QOL system, and plan to build flagship products to demonstrate. This is what Iwata had to say. Next time, proposed hardware will utilise what done on Wii U. Cannot have console and portable separate systems. They are brother and sister. Cannot have 2 to 3 different architectures. App has one iOS platform, as does Android. Nintendo has to do the same. Now, this could mean two things. It could mean that the next gaming system from Nintendo, it could be like what the Nintendo Fusion was, where it was a mix between, or a combination of the console and handheld. Or it could be just the fact that the handheld and console will have the same operating system. I think that might be the more likely option that we will see. It's like on Apple, they have the iOS, which is used on tablets, the Mac, iPhones, iPods. I think that's what Nintendo are aiming for here. I think they might want to have a universal operating system for the handheld, or handheld and console. But we could also see the handheld and console combining into one system. Wii U sales while weak in USA or UK, they were strong in France, and currently studying why that was the case. I hope that they look at the charts, because if they look at the charts, they'll see that in the UK, FIFA 14 is number one for about 8 weeks running now. I hope not just looking at why it's selling in France, like, oh yeah, Mario's selling in France, or we need to, do more Mario games for Europe. And, I think they should look at what's been selling well in the US and the UK and apply it to their system. Make games that will appeal to the Western market. That's what I think they should do. And then the last thing for this video, I was saying that entertainment needs to give surprise. This is big with hardware and software together. Nintendo integrated has more options. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say for this video. Pretty much covered everything that happened in yesterday's Nintendo's investors meeting. I must apologise for messing up a lot of words in there, stuttering a lot. I've been talking constantly for 45 minutes now, so my voice is gradually going. So I must apologise that I did mess up on certain things. If you guys couldn't understand certain things that I was saying, or if you wanted to have more details about some of the stuff that were mentioned in this video, I will leave a link to Nintendo's website where they have the investors meeting translated into English. So if you want to read more about the QOL system, you can do so. But that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, because I did spend quite a while making this video. Spent 3 hours gathering all of the notes for this video, and it's taken me 45 minutes, 50 minutes to make this video. So I hope you guys found this video informative. A lot of stuff got announced there. Just let me know your thoughts about all of the stuff that got announced in the comment section below. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I'm out of here for now. Goodbye.